Guys, today we're adding custom 3M vinyl inlays on the MK7 GTI. Before I can get to all of that, I have to go out to Home Depot and get some 3M tape because the 3M tape that I use on the back isn't really holding up so well. I need something a little bit stronger. So I'm gonna go to Home Depot, get some stuff to put on there, and be back in a second. Alright, so now that we're back from Home Depot, done doing that other project, which is really part 2 of what I first did, we're going to get started with the actual point of this video, to do the inside of the logos for the front and the back of the MK7 GTI. So for step 1, you're going to need paper, 2 pieces. You're going to need something to mark up this paper, and you're going to need something to hold down this paper, such as clear tape, or you can use painter's tape as well. I can't speak today. So let's get to the car. I'll show you exactly what to do. Alright, so this is actually fairly simple. What you want to do is pretty much overlay the paper on this. Tape this down. Make sure you really stretch the paper out. Tape every corner. This way it doesn't move. Just like that. And then take whatever, you can use a crayon. I'm using this because I don't have crayon. And just pretty much mark it up. Just like you did when you were in school. And you'll see after a while, the VW logo will actually start popping through when you start making the markings of it. See these edges? They'll start roughening up.
And that's what you need.
Make sure you go in different angles because you really want to get those edges down perfectly. A crayon would have probably been easier, but I don't have one. Really get those edges. What this is going to allow you to do is actually get a good idea of what the size of these things look like. Now, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to label this the back. And we're going to go to the front and do exactly the same thing. This one's obviously a little bit bigger, but same concept. This one's actually coming out a little bit better. It's actually a little bit easier if you stay going in one way as opposed to many different ways. And try to stay light on your hand. If you're an artist, this will be a little bit easier. I've always drawn all my life. See edges that are not properly marked up, make sure you go over them again. So you really want to get a good idea of what this is going to look like. Remember, there's a space over here as well. I'm going to label this the front. Now we're just going to take these off. Tape behind it. So you take the tape off. Alright, so now that you've taken care of step 1, step 2 is to bring these upstairs. Look at that. Bring these upstairs to the cutting board and get to cutting. Now you want to make sure you use something a little straight just so you can get really sharp lines. Use an X-Acto knife and cut them all up. Let's go upstairs in my apartment to the cutting board and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so here we are back to the video. Step 2 is going to be actually making the cutouts for these things. First thing you're going to want to do in step 2 is going to be to mark up what you did here. So I'm going to take a straight edge like this one and make a dot here, and connect the dots. And the reason why you do this is because you want to make sure that you can see visibly the lines before you move them onto the carbon fiber. So it's very important to do this. This way it ensures that your lines come up pretty darn straight. I'm going to continue to do this for both of the front and the rear, and I'll be back in a second. So now that we've made our pieces, next step is to cut these out. Use the same straight edge that you used, unless you're an artiste and you know how to cut perfectly. So I am kind of an artiste, so I'm just gonna go for it. So now that you've made your cutouts and you have 2 of these, the next step is to make a stencil on the carbon fiber itself. So I'm actually going to cut out a straight piece here, something that's going to be big enough for both of these to go on. So I'm going to make one straight cut from the top all the way down, just like this. Make sure when cutting these, you're cutting from the top of the carbon fiber, not from the paper, because it's just going to rip. Alright, so now this should be big enough to fit this guy here, fit all the pieces. So here we go. We have all the pieces all set. This is for the front. This is for the rear. So pretty much steps 1, 2, and 3 are complete. I guess step 4 would be just to clean the logo and the inserts where these are going to adhere to. And that's it. Just glue them on. So I'm going to go downstairs, do this, and show you guys what it looks like. Step 4 is to clean this up. I'm going to use some alcohol and a microfiber cloth. Just try to really get the edges on the inside all cleaned up, because that's what this is going to adhere to. So those need to be pretty darn clean. The next step is to take each of these pieces, line them up, and get them in here. Now remember, some of these cutouts aren't going to be perfect, so you're going to have to pretty much start trimming. It's always easier to remove things than it is to, you know, kind of add them on. So make sure you work it in there. What I like to do is I'll take the tape off of this, push it all the way into the top to where I know it makes a perfect connection, push it down, and then with my nail I'll make an incision, and very carefully, without breaking anything, you want to push this in with the tip of the blade and make a cutout. Remember, don't claw at your paint. Try to stick the blade in between the logo and the body of the car, and then use the tip of the blade to just push everything else in. It's not difficult, it's just tedious. I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show you guys the final product. Just make sure you repeat the steps in the front and as well, and that's pretty much it. I do want to give credit to where credit is due. I did get this idea from someone on the forums, so thank you very much for sharing that idea for everyone else to sort of follow along. And I think it's going to be a really nice addition to my whole carbon fiber theme that I have going on in my head. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please subscribe down below if you want to see more videos like this. See you in the next one. Peace out.